Hello, I'm Clark Crawford, and welcome back to the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Today's episode, I'll be giving a short recap of the Astros versus Twins series. Not too much to go over in that series. They lost another series. Unfortunately, the Astros are just not getting it done so far this year. Luckily, there's still a lot of season left, but it's getting early late and it's getting scary. But really, just a few things I want to talk about from Sunday's action, a few things to cover there. Not going to talk about the whole series. And then, of course, I'm going to give you an Astros versus Cardinals series preview. And then there's an injury news to get to as well. So, with that being said, I'm going to dive right in. The Astros versus Twins series did not go well for the Astros as they dropped 2 of 3 in the series. But what I wanted to talk about from specifically yesterday's game is the seventh inning situation, which ultimately cost the Astros the game. After an Alex Bregman single to left field to load the bases, Alvarez was up with 2 outs. As before Bregman, Kyle Tucker ended up getting out as well. So you have Alvarez up with 2 outs and the bases loaded. He flies out to left, and then of course Presley blows the game in the 8th inning, and you lose 4-3. Now, it's not all on Alvarez, but what's most concerning for the Astros and specifically Alvarez is Jordan is 8 for his last 50, hitting with runners in scoring position, also known as wrist. So that's the biggest takeaway from the 7th inning fiasco of you can't put any runs across, and runners in scoring position continues to haunt this team as it has all season. The other note about the 7th inning is I know a lot of people, mostly on X, formerly known as Twitter, are jumping all over Espada about, well, why didn't you pinch run for Jose Abreu? Well, I'm going to tell you something. I don't blame Espada for this decision in this situation. I'm more upset Espada put Ryan Presley in the game in the 8th inning as he continues to fail the team, but I'll talk about that here in a minute. The 7th inning situation, well, Jose Abreu was on the base pass, and the Astros had a couple of runners on, but here's the thing. Jose Abreu was on second base with 2 outs. Alex Bregman hits a line drive to left field that bounces in front of the left fielder, and it hops right to the left fielder. Now, the last I checked, the Astros don't have a man named Usain Bolt, the former Olympic medalist, on their team. They don't have a speed demon on their team. Previously, Jake Marisnick, Cameron Maybin, or even a Derek Fisher, who scored a key run, obviously, in the 2017 World Series. They don't, or a Miles Straw. They don't have a speed racer on their team. So the guys who were available off the bench to even pinch run for Jose Abreu, as your best pinch runners were in the game starting yesterday, and that would be obviously Jeremy Pena played yesterday, but he's an everyday player. Jake Myers is turning himself into an everyday player as he's been hot lately. He's one of your quickest guys. Both of them, along with Dubon's pinch run several times this year. And then, of course, Chas McCormick is a solid pinch runner. The only viable option you might have had yesterday as your pinch running situation was as followed. Greg Kessinger, he never plays, but also Greg Kessinger isn't a speed demon, so you weren't going to pinch run with him. John Singleton, he's not quick. Yainer Diaz, you're not going to pinch run with Diaz unless you're pinch running for an injured backup catcher, which the catcher in the game yesterday was Victor Caratini. We all know that for the 2024 Astros. You're not going to pinch hit Diaz for Abreu because they refuse to place Diaz or Caratini at first base. That's another discussion for another day. And then, of course, Jose Altuve got the day off yesterday. Now, we all know Altuve is a future Hall of Famer, but if I'm being honest, Altuve should not be your first option in pinch running, even though he was off the bench yesterday, because Jose Altuve, for as much as we love him, and like I said, he's a future Hall of Famer, we all know that, he's one of the worst base runners in Major League history. That's just facts. He's made so many bad base running decisions over the years. So what other choice did Espada have? You might as well leave Abreu out there. And it's not like a double was hit to the gap and he was slow and he got thrown out on it. No, Bregman stung a ball. Unfortunately, it was hit just hard enough to the left fielder to where he made a quick play on it and got the ball in. Like I said, nobody other than maybe Usain Bolt scores on that play. And even Usain Bolt probably doesn't score because he has to round the bag, then come home and score. So Joe Espada, I think he was fine not pinch running for Jose Abreu there because nobody on the 2024 Astros would have scored regardless. Now, the second of three observations from yesterday's game, as I mentioned it just a minute ago, was the Ryan Pressly debacle. Ryan Pressly, I think it's time to demote him from the eighth inning role / the setup role. He's been awful. He's 0-3 with the 5.24 ERA. He's got 4 blown saves on the year. I mean, I've seen enough. Pressly needs to be moved to the sixth inning until further notice, maybe permanently for the rest of the season. I know he's making a ton of money, and that's the only reason Jose Abreu's still on the team. But Ryan Pressly, he needs to be moved. I've seen enough. Ryan Pressly's 35. My bigger question is Ryan Pressly, are his best days behind him? Because he's 35 now, and he's 35 now, and I'm starting to question with his performance so far this year, is the decline already in effect? I'm not saying or guaranteeing it's already in effect, but it begs the question. Ryan Pressly 0-3 with the 5.24 ERA. I'm starting to think there's some decline in Pressly's game, and it may be hitting hard this year because if things don't get better soon, well, I know Ryan Pressly's been a good pitcher for us, but by the end of the year, it might be time to cut ties. They're not going to do it during the regular season, and nor am I calling for it. But this could very well be Ryan Pressly's last year in an Astros uniform. And lastly, I want to note from yesterday's game, Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown deserves some recognition. I've been behind Hunter Brown for any of you who have been following my channel all season long for the 2024 Astros. I've been behind Hunter Brown, and let's give him some recognition for his good pitching. Over his last 3 starts, he's given the team a huge boost, and he's majorly improved his season performance. What's most impressive is at the beginning of May, and he's had 6 starts since then, Hunter Brown had an 8.89 ERA. I know he had that massive disappointment in Kansas City where he gave up all those runs in the first inning, couldn't make it out of there. But since the start of May in his first start, he's lowered his ERA down from 8.89 to 6.18. He had a miserable beginning to the start of the year, but he's really making a difference in 2024, and he's turned his season around so far. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a ton of work to do, and he's going to need to get his ERA at least the 4.5 or under 4 to consider it a good and a quality season. But I think Hunter Brown's well on his way to at least getting his season ERA under 5 by maybe sometime in August, and maybe getting it to 4.5 or right around the 4 mark by the end of the year. But hats off to Hunter Brown, and hope his season success since his first start in May continues, because he's been outstanding. And like I said, I'm going to give him some recognition for his great pitching lately. Now, game 1 of your Astros versus Cardinals series preview. The St. Louis Cardinals, 27-29, are second in the NL Central behind the Milwaukee Brewers. And your Houston Astros, 26-34, third in the AL West. Now, what's key about this series is over the next 6 series, the Astros do not play a team with a winning record. So if there's ever a time to win some games, it's right now over these next 15 games. This is the key part in the schedule. The Astros' schedule, other than the Baltimore Orioles late in the month, they don't play a team as of right now. Today, I'm recording this on June 3rd. They don't play a team with a winning record. June is make it or break it for this 2024 season. If you go, I don't have the exact amount of games left in June, but if you win 15, 18 games the rest of the month, I think you still got a chance to win the division. Now, if they play the way they played in May, which is a little improved, but not nearly enough, and then, of course, in March/April, they're screwed, and I think it's, at that point, time to pack in the season. So, Astros versus Cardinals, we'll talk about that in later videos, and I'll track their June success maybe in my next video or the one after that. Kyle Gibson, veteran right-handed pitcher, starts for the Cardinals tonight. 4-2 with the 3.60 ERA, 65 innings with 52 strikeouts. He will match up with future Hall of Famer Justin Verlander, 3-2, a 3.26 ERA, 47 innings pitched, and 44 strikeouts. Verlander's been fantastic as of late. He's had back-to-back 9 strikeout games, so I expect more of the same out of Justin Verlander. in tonight's battle because, well, number one, the Astros need it. Their starting pitching over the last 11 games has been fantastic. The problem is they're 4-7 in those games. So the starting pitching has really picked it up as of late. It's the offense that's got to improve for them to continue to win games. Game 2 of the series is another battle of right-handed pitchers. Andre Palente, he is 1-1 with the 3.94 ERA, 16 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts. Not much to go off of him. He's a right-handed pitcher in St. Louis. Looks like they could use some length out of him. Only 16 innings pitched so far on the season. He will be countered on the Astros side with Spencer Arrighetti, 3-5 with the 5.98 ERA, 43 2/3 innings pitched, 51 strikeouts. Now Arrighetti, just like Hunter Brown, he's been phenomenal as of late, and with some injury news that I'll share later in the video, it's even more imperative that Spencer Arrighetti continues to pitch well because the pitching depth has been snake bitten yet again, and another injury news is really kicking the Astros in the tail right now. So Spencer Arrighetti, regardless if it's a 5 or maybe they get back to a 6-man rotation at some point, but it looks like he's here to stay because there's more pitching injuries and things just don't seem to be getting better. So Arrighetti, you've been the next man up for a month and a half now, and here's to continued success because we're certainly going to need it to maybe scratch and claw and potentially win this division in 2024. It's definitely an uphill battle, but it's still possible if you put together a nice June and then see what happens the rest of the year. 3 of the end of the Astros homestand, along with an afternoon game, is going to be Miles Mikolas, 3-6 to 5.54 ERA and 65 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts, versus Astros ace so far this year, Ronel Blanco, 5-1 with the 2.44 ERA and 59 innings pitched with 57 strikeouts. I know I've said it several times, but heck, can't give Ronel Blanco enough credit for what he's done so far this season. If it weren't for him, I mean, shoot, the Astros would be nowhere near where they're even at right now. I know they're way under 500, but could you imagine how bad things would be if Ronel Blanco was still in AAA and they hadn't extended him into a starter early last season? Thankfully, Dana Brown and the Astros ownership and front office did that because, well, they'd be in a world of hurt without Ronel Blanco, and he deserves all the credit in the world. Ronel Blanco definitely should be an all-star this year, but I'm not thinking too much about the all-star game. I'm just hoping the Astros can start winning some games. Now, the batting leaders for the offensive side of things, as we went through the pitching matchups, Nolan Gorman on the Cardinals side of things, 11 homers, a 223 average, and he also leads the team with 28 RBIs along with his 11 home runs. Mason Wynn is the team leader in average at 299 with the 349 on base percentage. 2 of the Cardinals' key performers so far this year. Now, this isn't the Cardinals the Astros saw in the past where we're still haunted by Albert Pujols, but they can still be a dangerous team, so don't take them too lightly or lightly at all. Side of things, Kyle Tucker, the team leader in homers and RBIs, 19 homers, 40 RBIs. The problem is Tucker's in about a 2-week slump right now. Hopefully being at home as his average has plummeted from about 293, 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, all the way down to 263. He's in a free fall right now, but there's still a lot of season left. And if it weren't for Kyle Tucker, we have 26 wins right now. We may only have about 20 or even less than that. Kyle Tucker's carried the offense other than the last couple of weeks. So thank you to Kyle Tucker, but we need your bat to heat up and heat up quickly again. And same thing goes for Jeremy Pena. He's in the middle of a free fall as his average just a couple weeks ago was about 330. He's down to 296, and his on-base percentage has plummeted as well, down to 329. It was right around 360, 365. Jeremy Pena's got to pick it back up because those were 2 of the hottest performers, and also Jose Altuve's in a slump, and they need all 3 of those guys to get hot again to have any sort of shot of climbing back into things. Next on the agenda, as I got 2 more things I want to talk about in today's video. The first is the Jose Abreu update. Now, I know a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes or maybe even turned my video off, but it needs to be mentioned as he's played in 5 games since returning in the Seattle series. He is 3 for 15 so far with 1 homer and 2 RBIs and 1 walk. That's good for a 200 average. It's sad to say, but it's better than he was hitting before he agreed to go work on his swing in minor league camp in Florida. And then also he played in a couple of AAA games as well. So it's sad to say he's improved his season average to 116. Though good news for all of you Abreu haters out there is I'm hoping he figures it out. I don't think it's likely, but I'm still hoping he figures it out one way or another. He's not in the lineup today. That's the good news. And honestly, we'll see how long he sticks around before his likely DFA announcement sooner rather than later. It's more than likely going to happen. But as of right now, as of June 3rd, he's still on the roster. So probably about once a week or so, I'm going to give a Jose Abreu update for as long as he's here. Last order of business that I wanted to get to for today's episode is we finally got an update on Jose Urquidy. And, well, the sad part is it is likely not going to be a good one. As Chandler Rome tweeted early this afternoon, Jose Urquidy is en route to see Dr. Keith Meister for a second opinion on his elbow, and it is expected he is going to have a Tommy John surgery, which puts Urquidy out for the rest of this season until at least June, if not July or August of next season. And, well, actually, that means he could potentially miss all of 2025, depending on how well he is recovering. That's massive news. And that also brings me to we still don't know anything on Christian Javier. And to me, if it took roughly 10 days to get an update on Jose Urquidy, I'm bracing for the worst also for Christian Javier. As I said last week in my videos of I'm bracing for the worst because if they're not giving us injury updates and we're supposed to get them by Friday of last week, well, as I predicted last week, it's going to be not what we were hoping for. And, well, like I said, brace for the worst, and look what happens. Jose Urquidy, I'm predicting he's not going to be back to 2026, and who knows? Urquidy's been here a while. Have we seen him in his last performance in an Astros uniform in 2023? Because now he's not going to pitch in 2024, and, well, 2025 is definitely in question now. So have we seen the last of Jose Urquidy in an Astros uniform? It's sad to say. He's had some success here, not a great amount. He's had some good postseason success, but his regular season have been not horrible numbers, not great, but kind of mediocre to good at times. So thank you for everything you've done, Jose Urquidy, if this is the last time you pitch for the Astros. But nonetheless, just giving him a thank you. When we get a Christian Javier update, I'll put it in one of my next videos. But as of right now, we do not have that. So that'll wrap up the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Hopefully the Astros can get back on track for one of the first times all year, might I say. Maybe they'll sweep the Cardinals to give us some good momentum going forward as we're playing a bunch of teams that are currently under 500. But that's the latest edition of Clark Crawford Sports. Like my videos, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see all of you in the next edition of Clark Crawford Sports later on this week. Thanks for watching.